I will take you step by step through building a computer. One of the first things you should do when you purchase some computer products, and especially the motherboard, is have the motherboard tested along with the CPU in it and the memory. Your memory modules are right here. Your CPU is right there. These need to be installed to test the motherboard and see if the motherboard and memory and all that's good. If you don't do this, you'll always run into some major trouble if you start having some system troubles after you get it all done and all put together, and then that you might have a lot of trouble troubleshooting the problem. So it's better just to have it checked first. After you get it home, you ought to go ahead and read the motherboard manual. Within the motherboard manual is the jumper settings for everything, and these jumper settings, you use these little bitty pins right here, these little connectors. They just slide off and back on. They're all over the motherboard. There's little pins all over that you have to set right. The motherboard manual normally tells you how to go about this. If not, you can find support from other places to learn how to set them. You need to inspect the motherboard also at the same time as you're looking at all these jumper settings to make sure that everything looks intact and no damage is done to it. If you get as far as to plug it into the power and you have a damaged motherboard, it will cause some serious damage, even to the CPU. So it's better to check the board out good. Next, we'll check out the computer case. You need to take off the cover of it and check out and see if the parts are inside that's supposed to be. The case comes with the power pack already in it, and the power cord and all the connections that you need to make to the motherboard. So we need to make sure that everything's intact there and that everything's there. First start out, I've already taken 2 screws out. That's usually held on by 4 screws back here. Let's get me something to put my stuff in. Slide it back and up and off, and the cover comes off real easy. Let's turn it around. As you can see, everything is here, it looks like. All the wires you need, all the connections for the motherboard. Okay. Here's your power supply right here. These do go bad, by the way. It says that's the most problem computers have is the power supply going out. So if there's problems there, they can be replaced, but we don't really want to do that. So, okay. These cases come very disassembled, so we need to put the rubber feet on underneath. I've already put 2 on, so just lift it up. Of course, you get the job done faster if you have a helper. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah. I went ahead and plugged it in to see if the power supply worked.
What?
Power supply does work.
What?
Got a little fan in the back, you can hear it come on.
you're talking about? Are you talking about? What you talking about?
Okay. Now, getting ready to take the back plate out here. This piece here, the motherboard mounts to this piece here.
The big one. How about the big one?
We'll get ready to do that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take this back off right here. So we can mount the motherboard to it.
What?
If I still have my helper with me.
Can I help too?
Yeah, you can help too.
And I'm going to play with this. I'm going to play with this. Airplane.
These cases aren't made out of much. If you knew somebody that worked in a metal shop, you might have them make it.
Is that Mommy?
Yeah.
That Mom.
Screw don't want to come out. Okay. This is the rear of the case, so I need to turn it around like this towards me.
On the corner.
Now I gotta locate all my holes. There's plastic pieces that go in the motherboard in some of the holes, and some of these holes are threaded, where I'll actually put a bolt or a screw through it. I put connectors in here that are little spacers that go. A lot of motherboard manufacturers say just put one in the middle, but that makes the board pretty unstable on here. Here's the little plastic pieces that go in the slots, and then also goes in the holes in the motherboard that just support it. So you can go. I'm going ahead and put 3 in. That way it'll hold this motherboard down. Although it may not fit, so we may have to adjust these and put them elsewhere. So we'll see how it fits. Okay, we're going to attempt to put this motherboard on here now. I have to kind of work it around a little bit. Okay, this one here, I'm going to have to cut the plastic piece off. And that one there also on this side. So, maybe get the X-Acto knife out and cut that off. If my X-Acto knife is long enough. And these act as little stands on the motherboard then. It just rests against the metal plate. Get all that plastic off there. I want a flat surface for it to rest on. Okay, now the keyboard connector's right here, and it always faces the back of the board also. As well as your PCI sockets or slots and your ISA slots.
Mommy told it was a paint engine. Mommy told it was a paint engine, Daddy.
Yeah.
Mommy told it. He told me. Mommy told me it was a paint engine.
Okay. Now, here's the big chore. Actually finding the hole for these little screws.
What? But for the tree. For the baby tree. What baby tree? For the baby tree.
Probably one of the hardest things to do because you gotta go down through plastic.
For the baby. For the baby tree. It's not.
Like we're finding it. Got little washers that need to go on top of these.
No,
Little bitty
it's for the
washers
baby
that go.
tree.
I don't know what they're made out of. It looks like little cardboard washers. Some of these are just so dinky. Hard to get down in there.
What? What? Get down in there?
Yeah.
I can't see my mom. My mom's busy.
Looks like we're missing a hole.
Mom's busy. Bobby's mom
Get lined up here.
busy. My mom's busy. Your pants are
So far it's
dirty.
not been too bad.
Your pants are dirty. Your pants.
Of course I've got my helper here and he's really helping me out, aren't you, Robbie?
I know.
Are you helping me? Okay.
I'm just playing with it.
You don't want to tighten these too tight so it won't break the board.
I want it.
There, the board's nice and solid on there
I
now.
want it cut
And now you've got the back plate with the board on it.
I want the cut from the
So now, we can put it back in, but let's wait and think about it and see what else we need to do.
We can't.
With these cases, most of these slots, this is where all your adapter cards go, that they fit in these slots and your ISA and PCI slots, and then they stick out the back here where you can plug everything into. They're normally permanently, or not permanently in here, but temporarily in here where you can just bend them out. Same with the parallel port for your printer and your serial port up here for your mouse, and some other ports here that you can use if you want. We'll go ahead and take this one out for your printer. Since it's already, looks like it's kind of bent out there. Take it off there. Normally when you get these things, they have a piece on here that you can actually put them in here, but that would just take up one of your slots that you really don't need to, so you can actually get you a nut driver and take the nuts off of here and insert it in here. That way it's up out of the way and you're not using your slots up. You don't want to really use those up if you don't have to. That way you have more room to expand later on if you need to. It just goes in here like that. Be careful, they're all kind of fine thread on this stuff. It's easy to get them sort of crooked. Try to center the thing in there a little bit, if you can. Yeah. Don't want to over tighten because you're tightening into plastic, I think. That's your parallel port or your printer port hook up now. Hook your printer right there. Also, you got here a thing for an external modem. I don't normally put them in and hook them up unless you're actually going to use an external modem, and they're usually more expensive than internal modems, and that's what we're going to put in, so we really don't need that piece. But we will need this serial port right here. We'll put it probably right there. Not hard to get off there. Matter of fact, I think this one's going to take a wrench because it's so close in there. So we'll get a wrench and take it off.
I brought my shoes.
Okay. I know everybody's got a wrench this size in their toolbox, so this should be no problem.
I brought my
You take these little nuts off of here, so we can do it. Of course, my son has bigger problems than this. Can you tell what his problem is? What? No way. They quit making shoes. Okay, we need to pop one of these out now. I'm talking about a computer.
No, you're not. You're not
Let's
talking about a computer.
Put our serial port in, as they call it.
What?
This is where your mouse will plug into. And it'll actually go, yeah, it'll go on COM1 on the motherboard.
I cut one.
Oops.
And I will do.
Yeah.
I scared you to death. I tried
My little boy has
Wow.
a big vocabulary.
Um,
Hey, let's not be hitting now.
kick. Kick.
Yeah, he kicked me.
Kick.
Tighten these up, or I'll stop it.
Kick. Kick.
Kid's ornery, I don't know where he gets it at. Actually, right now, he's really wondering who I'm talking to. Okay. There's our serial port in. Okay. I'm going to talk about signal cables for a minute. This is the signal cable for your hard drive. This end plugs into your motherboard. And then you have two connectors here. You can actually hook two hard drives up to this one line. Now, you can actually have two of these ribbon cables, and you can actually plug in 4 hard drives to this motherboard. However, most of your CD-ROMs run off of one of these also. So, and they say not to run a hard drive with the CD-ROM. So therefore, we're going to run the CD-ROM off of one instead of another hard drive. So we'll use just one hard drive on this also, and for this machine, and then the CD-ROM will take up the other IDE. They're called IDE slots that these plug into. This is your floppy cable. This is the part that should plug into the motherboard. in your floppy port there. That's for the 3.5-inch disc. These two, actually, you can plug 2 floppy disks in with these. However, we only have one, and that's really all you need. I have 2 in my machine, but the second one's virtually useless. I never use it, so really you only need one. Now on these signal cables, even these signal cables in here, for your mouse and your printer port, all signal cables have either red dots on one side of them or a red line, as you see here, on one side or the other. That indicates that that end of the cable goes to pin 1 on the motherboard. And if you can't determine what pin 1 is, normally the red always goes towards the rear of the motherboard when you're plugging it in, the red line on it, as a rule of thumb. Normally, if you have these on backwards, the hard drive light will stay on, or the floppy drive light will stay on. You'll know you'll have them backwards, and I don't think it actually will damage them, but you certainly don't want to leave them that way because it won't work. Okay, on your CD-ROM, we have to set the jumpers so it will be a master device. We're going to take the little jumper pin off there. It's acting as a slave, which would mean where you had that signal cable, there was 2 connections. On the second connection, whatever device you have on there, whether it's a hard drive or CD-ROM, you have to make it a slave device to the master. But we're going to make this a master on the secondary IDE. So we need to change that jumper to that. Also, we need to hook our signal cable here in. There's usually 3 wires on this, a red, black, and white. Your red usually always goes on the R, which don't mean red, I don't think. I think it means right. And then you got 2 grounds and then a left, which is the white one. So, and then this will turn, hook into your modem when we get it, and put it in. And then from the modem, it'll go to the sound card. And we'll go ahead and take the cover off here of the drive. Some are easier than others to get loose, so we need to figure it out here. This may be one of the hard ones to get out. Okay, there's that. Now, let's feed our wire down through. We'll stick this in. Like so. Okay. Gotta get this level. I think my son's stuck. He's riding his toy and he's stuck. Trying to get these screws in here to hold the drive up. So, got one in. Okay. Get it flush here. As soon as I get this, I've got to go get my son, who's stuck somewhere over there.
I'm over here. This sideways. This sideways. I need this sideways.
There we go. Well, I went ahead and turned the power on here to it to see if it works. At least it goes in and out. We don't have the signal cable yet for it, and the signal cable will hook it up to the motherboard. "24-speed CD-ROM. Cyber drive is what they call it. Okay. Go ahead and shut power off to it. I keep it unplugged for each thing I hook up to try out. Unplug it on the back of the machine. We got that done. Now we'll go ahead and put the hard drive in here in a minute. First, we always need to write on a piece of paper what the what size the drive is. That you might go ahead and write the model number down, and size of the drive, cylinders, how many cylinders there are, how many heads there are, and how many sects or sectors there are. You need to make note of your jumper setting for master, slave, or cable select, and if it's a single drive, it's always, the master. So that's the default setting on this drive, so that's what we'll keep that at. I went ahead and installed the hard drive in here. It looks like you're going to have room for another hard drive here. I haven't actually screwed it in yet. They make these big enough here for 2 drives. We put the hard drive right up here. And you can actually mount another one underneath it. One of these days, if you happen to run out of room on your hard drive. So we'll go ahead and install this one right here. Of course, your motherboard package or your case package should come with the screws it takes to put this on. You don't want to tighten them all down yet. Kind of awkward. Need about 5 hands doing this. Be careful not to get the screws started crooked. I think it's probably screwing this into aluminum. I'm putting the computer together, Robbie. Yeah. Okay. I put the screws on the other side also. Okay, I'm getting ready to put the motherboard back in. I may be taking it out again due to I got to put the fan in and stuff, and I have to take this out, and I have to do some other minor things before I install it permanently. But I want to go ahead and put it in for right now so that we don't damage it, move it around and stuff. Get all these cables in.
You're going to set it to it.
It's got to go in like
You're
that.
going to do it. You're going to do it.
that. Okay, there. Now, let's put this in.
This is the blue one and the red one.
These little screws are really hard to hold on to.
The screws are too little. What's the
I think I
sound?
need a longer screwdriver.
The screwdriver. The big screwdriver.
Yeah.
The big screwdriver. This goes. This goes. This is a resistance. This is a.
That one in.
Another one. Another one.
Okay. Yep, we've got the noise makers and everything. It's a must when you're building a computer.
What? Too little?
Yeah.
That's for computer. And
Yeah.
the computer over there.
Now the motherboard's in.
And the
left
computer's
this
over
pink
there.
Foam on the back so that
Over there.
in case
over
it
there.
wanted to ground out on the metal frame, it won't do that because all
It's over there.
the solder on the back of the board.
It's over
So
there. The computer's over there.
we'll have to pop out a couple slots, probably 3 slots, one for the
That
modem,
computer's over there. It's over
one for the
there.
sound card, and one for the video card. So that'll be one of our next tasks. Can't do a whole lot though permanently until we put the front fan in, because I'll have to take all this back out to get the front cover off to put that in. So I can go ahead and put it together and just take it back apart though, so that I know that everything fits. There we go. Let's see if I can turn it around so you can see what it's going to look like.
This is mine.
All the motherboards in there and everything.
This is mine. This is mine.
Keyboard connector lines up pretty good. Goes right in the back.
Watch this.
Keyboard connector goes right in on the motherboard right there.
What this is?
Okay.
Call me what this is.
I went ahead and put the sound card in. Right here, that's the AWE64. Because I think that I don't have to take the motherboard back out now. Because I can get to the front without doing that. We'll go ahead and hook some other things up here. So I'll pause this for a little bit, but I'll go ahead and hook the parallel port up and the serial port. I'll go ahead and hook it up to the motherboard. I'll go ahead and put the video card in it. Still have to purchase the modem for it. And we're getting ready to put the S3 Verge video card in. Boy, this is a nice one. It's better than the one I've got in my machine. Yeah, that's a good video card here. Here's the well, the last step was putting the fan in here. Well, it's not the last step, but the last thing I've done here, I put the CPU fan on right here, and it helps cool the CPU off. It just plugs in line here. And you plug a hard drive or whatever else in right here. It keeps your CPU cool. Right here's where we'll mount a case fan. It also plugs in like inline right on one of these, and you plug a hard drive or whatever else into it. There's your sound card and your video card right up here. That's your PCI slots right there, and that's your ISA slots. I haven't put a modem in it yet. Okay, I'm getting ready to put the floppy drive in. right here. This is A drive. Slide it in a little bit here until we can. It sits there, and we gotta come around here and put screws in the brackets. And we'll have to plug the signal cable in, which is right here. And of course the power cable right here. Well, we're now formatting the hard drive. Like everything's doing pretty good. It's about 80% formatted right now. Things are working pretty good so far. Got a few more things to put in the computer. Signal cable for the CD-ROM, which the CD-ROM didn't come with it, unfortunately. Need to put a case fan in it so that when I put the cover on it don't overheat. I have a tendency of doing that. Everything else seems to be going pretty good. Well, we're now putting Windows 3.1.1 in. Of course, the screen looks awful. It's not actually blinking like that, except in this video. The camera, for some reason, makes it look like that. But it's asking for disk 2, so I'm going to have to get off of here for a minute and put it in. Windows 3.1.1 is going in. Everything's going together great. This thing's fast. Well, we've got Windows 3.1.1 installed now, and everything's working great still. Looks like there's a line on the screen, but that's this thing's detecting it. It's not you can't actually see that in real life here. We're going to install Windows 95 upgrade to this here as soon as we get the signal cable for the CD-ROM, and if we do that, then we can install it and be on our way then, and we'll start installing all the drivers for the sound blaster and video card and modem and all that stuff. So looking forward to it here pretty soon. Well, we got a signal cable for the CD-ROM, so we're going ahead and installing Windows 95. Windows 95 setup. Right now we're just making a boot disk that you can boot off of to, if something goes wrong with your system, you can refer to it. We broke the speakers out tonight, and we'll try them out here in a little while. Well, looks like I'm done making my startup disk, so I better get off of here and get busy. Well, I think we're now getting somewhere in Windows 95 now. We definitely got some music playing, don't we? Well, that's it.